Hello, welcome back to the IO Sportscast. With me, as always, I've got Ollie. Say hello.
Hi guys.
And today we're talking about the Monaco Grand Prix. Uh, we normally start this with best driver, worst driver, and a race rating. Um, let's go for race rating first because I think I think we're fairly in agreement on where this is going to rank. Um, why don't you go first with your race rating, Ollie?
Race rating.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna give it a middle of the road, 5 out of 10. It's Monaco
five
in
out of
it.
ten.
Can't really
Yeah,
overtake. They won't. Just an average boring race.
yeah. Well,
So
that's the
yeah,
thing.
5.
It is a very boring race, and I mean, even for Monaco standard, this was not great. There was no safety car when it's like the second time in the last 11 years or something like that we've not had any safety car. And I think even the one other year before this we had virtual safety car.
Yeah.
Um, I've been a little harsher. I've gone for a two because I think this is genuinely the worst race I've seen in a long time because it was just procession. Hope something happened at the pit stops, and then waiting for an accident, which you don't ever really want to be doing, in Formula One. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so I've gone for a two. Sorry, Monaco, but not sorry, Monaco.
Yeah. Exactly. Sorry, not sorry.
Um, best driver, worst driver. I'm I'm struggling to pick here because of the procession. Like it was very difficult to pick. Let's start with best drivers. Um, I think I'm going to go with Carlos Sainz. It's either going to be Sainz or Norris. I think other contenders like Perez is a good shout potentially. He's a great pit strategy to jump quite a few places. But Carlos Sainz, after the disappointment of qualifying, and he had a genuine shot at pole to bring it home behind Max Verstappen, and to be constantly right, even right at the end, like in the space to be able to attack and be in that window. I think it was a really good, like, solid drive, and especially around the streets of Monaco when it's very easy just to switch off for one corner and crash your car. And
Yeah.
his first podium for Ferrari, obviously. Um, yeah, I'm gonna give him like a good 8.5, I think.
Interesting. So my best driver, I've gone for Lando
Nice, nice.
because he did. I know he was up there. He was up there for most of the race, but then obviously he did well to keep Perez behind him. I know it's Monaco and it's about 2 foot wide in places, and you can't really overtake. But and he said he could drive. His car was undrivable at one point. But yeah, the way he just held um, held Perez behind him, and I think he set fastest lap as well at one point.
Yeah, he did have fastest lap at one point. Yeah, the car undrivable thing was a little bit strange because then he suddenly started finding some pace and
Yeah,
extended the
exactly.
gap to Perez. So I don't know whether he was just going through a bad tyre phase or what. But sorry, did you give him a rating?
No, I'm going to give him an 8.
8. Yeah,
Yeah,
solid. Yeah, I think those are probably good options. Like I say, Perez is probably another shout. Or and maybe Giovinazzi. He actually had a really decent weekend. In terms of worst driver, I think I'm torn between a couple of people here.
who you got?
Well, Lewis just didn't have a good weekend,
Nah.
so he's right up there. Daniel Ricciardo's the other one. When you look at Lando Norris getting lapped by a teammate in any race is not good.
Yeah,
Um,
especially when you're in the same car as them anyway as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. I think. I don't know. I think because both Mercedes suffered, it sort of takes the edge off Hamilton, and there wasn't really much you can do. Daniel Ricciardo, I think, actually went slightly backwards during the race by a couple of places, and yeah, and got lapped by Lando. So obviously, it wasn't the car in itself could do it. So I think I'm going to give it to Daniel Ricciardo. Um, Probably going to give him a 5.
Ooh,
Yeah,
ooh. I'm gonna I'm gonna give mine to Lewis
fair enough. Yeah,
because as you said, he didn't have a great quality and he didn't really do anything on track. He just started seventh, finished seventh, and really. It's not like a Lewis Hamilton performance. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna give him a 4.5
4.5. Fair enough.
out of 10.
Yeah, well, I think most of his race was sort of all down to the pit stop and Mercedes. They just did not have a good day in the garage, did they? Should we just jump straight into the Mercedes woes?
We can do. I can
We'll
leave
just
it till later.
well, we could let's do it out of order. Let's do it out of order
All
for
right,
once.
all right. Yeah.
Because both sides of the Mercedes garage had a bit of an issue. Lewis has been more just wrong timing. Lost a place to Vettel because of it, and then lost to Perez, who went quite a lot longer. Put Lewis in this window of not really being able to do anything. I think had he actually gone for it, like he could have got past Gasly and maybe Vettel as well. But that would have been quite a big ask. It is Monaco.
Yeah.
But Lewis did show that he did have pace in that car at the end. I think he just given up.
Yeah, you could tell he was getting frustrated.
Yeah.
And he set new lap record as well.
He did. I mean, yeah. It was a 12.9, something like that. And absolutely obliterated. Poor Yuki, trying his hardest. First time at Monaco. Literally, I think it is the first time in his career he's driven at Monaco. And in the race, he sets the lap record for F1 racing. He temporarily, for a couple of laps.
I don't even think it was a lap, was it?
I think it might be one
like
complete
one
lap. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't long.
And then Hamilton specially by about 2 seconds.
What was it? 1.1 seconds, 1.2 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, it was a 1:12.6, I think. Hamilton.
Wow. Yeah, just the only good bit about Lewis's weekend really was the fast lap. On the other side of the Mercedes garage, I don't know what it is, but Valtteri Bottas's front tyres in pit stops just don't want to play ball. This is not the first time that they've had issues with front tyres. Now, I don't know if it's always just been the front right. Today it was the front right tyre. The machine gun just properly. I mean, did you see the slow-mo replay when they cut in? Look, down the line, and you could see the shards of everything coming off.
Yeah.
Oh, like.
When he pulled in, because he was obviously not far behind Max, and I was like, I could probably still do something here because he was catching. It was close, but he was catching him and stuff like that. And he came in. I was like, all right, fair enough. If he has a good pit stop, he might get on the podium or whatever. But then he came in and the other 3 tyres went on. I was like, they've got a stuck wheel good because sometimes it just sticks, doesn't it? With the heat, it expands and stuff.
Yeah.
But literally nothing was happening, and then I was like, okay.
Yeah. I think you saw the mechanic, because normally you see what you would see is the mechanic lift it off, flick the switch, flick it back, try again.
Yeah, and then after was putting it on and off and on and off. You could hear it wearing up, and
I think after the second try, I think he realised it wasn't the gun that was faulty at that point.
They had 2 guns as well. I think they used 2.
Yeah. That's when the second gun came in. I think the mechanic on the wheel was like, "What are you doing? It's not the gun, but I'll try it anyway. May as well."
Yeah.
I think he knew at that point it was a bit more serious.
Cross-threaded wheel, not one.
Yeah. But it just feel like it's always Valtteri at fault. Like I'm just trying to think back when Mercedes have had bad pit stops. It's nearly always the front tyres of Valtteri's car. Like, surely that's not coincidence now. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, but
with the wood today, you couldn't really help that because it was some mechanically cross-threaded it or something they were saying.
Yeah, it's always a little bit strange that it's Valtteri's front tyres that are going, and the only time that I think it's Lewis has had a major pit stop issue was Germany when he took the front wing off.
Yeah.
Like even in Sakia, like you had a problem with Valtteri's stop, and then Valtteri's tyres going on George's car. It's just a little bit. I don't know. It's just one too many to make it not suspicious. I'm not I'm not saying obviously that Mercedes are going to.
Sabotaging.
Yeah, they're not going to do that because they've got a championship to fight. But it's just one. There's one thing too many going on. I don't know how you fight that only on one car.
Yeah.
But hey ho, it's happened. Not a great day for Mercedes.
Nope, not a great weekend for Mercedes as well.
Yeah.
Should we talk about what happened before the race?
Yeah, I was going to say
with a certain Monegasque
Ferrari.
Charles Leclerc.
Ferrari have had a mixed weekend. Let's say.
Yeah.
Let's talk about qualifying first. Fantastic lap from Charles to get P1. Max and Carlos and Valtteri all taking extra laps to really set their fast lap. And then Charles bins it at the swimming pool.
Yeah. Do you think he did it on purpose?
I was going to ask you that. I don't know.
Do you think he did a Schumacher?
I think if you're going to crash it anyway, like that's probably the better spot to crash it. I don't.
Or you'd park it at Raskas.
Yeah, I don't think he's done it on purpose. But I think, I've not seen that many replays, and I've never driven a Formula One car. You know, everyone says once you get over that yellow curb, if you're in the air, that's it. You're in the wall.
Yeah, if you hit it wrong.
Yeah.
It's game over, isn't it?
When you look at the replay, he turns in way too early. So I think he was sort of like, let's push it towards the edge, and if I crash, what a shame. I know I've got it in the bag then.
Yeah.
I think it was sort of a subconscious thing, just to try and take a little bit too much.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of both, wasn't it? A bit of
I don't think
on purpose, but
yeah,
I didn't mean to do it on purpose.
Yeah, I don't think he actively crashed like Nelson Piquet in Singapore.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
But I do think there's that little thing in the back of your mind that if you know you're going to crash, you're more willing to take a bigger risk.
Yeah, you either crash there or you crash at Raskas. Yeah. Or you park it up at Raskas.
Or you do a Nico Rosberg and pull off at turn 5.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So it wasn't the greatest ending of qualifying. It did ruin it a little bit, especially when you had Max and Carlos both up on their times.
I think there was a few people, weren't there? Bottas.
I think Bottas might have been as well, yeah. I don't think Bottas had a genuine chance at P1 though. But it would have been good to see the end. Obviously, we're never going to know.
If it had been tied, Max and Charles, like exactly the same time.
Yeah.
Is it whoever had done it first?
Whoever does it first. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
There was, I think there's FP1 maybe that Lewis and Max had the exact same time.
All right.
So it does happen quite quite often around Monaco.
Yeah.
But going into the race, Ferrari saying that there's nothing wrong with Charles's gearbox, which was quite a relief. We were thinking, you could be taking a 5-10 grid place penalty here. And then he drives out for his lap to the grid before the race and has some issues. I think at the time he was saying it was gearbox, but then
drive shaft. It was uncovered as.
So I don't actually know what the official word is because I'm hearing several different things. Yeah. But either way, it does seem a little bit strange that there's a check that's gone wrong or something's not quite added up. You'd expect that the rear end of that car got completely overhauled and checked every little detail.
Yeah, that's what he was saying as well when he was getting interviewed. He thinks it was from the accident, but they're not sure. They'll have to look at the data.
Yeah, but overnight, surely you've stripped that car apart and you're checking every little detail. Like, obviously you can't put the car through actual drive loads until that sort of installation.
So you actually got
But it just feel a little bit strange that something like that wasn't missed if it was a drive shaft. Like, it's not like a small part of the car, isn't that?
Yeah.
Well, it was a shame. It left a nice gap on P1 though. Cheeky Red Bull message to the FIA asking whether the cars shuffle up to give Max P1. that was rejected, thankfully. But Valtteri Bottas did not take advantage. He had a nice clean run to turn one. Max was pointing right to block him off, but you've got to think, if that's Lewis Hamilton, they're going wheel to wheel through Sandoval. Like Lewis goes on the inside and pushes Max back over,
and there's potential crash.
Or or they do collide just before the turn, and Lewis takes the inside and Max pushes him off the track. There's with Valtteri, it was very much like, oh, okay, you're in front. Yes, you go first.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't really put up a fight, in my opinion. Having said that, no heroics. It is turn one in Sandoval.
Yeah.
You don't want to ruin your race, but I mean, I guess in Valtteri's case, it really did not matter. In the long run. On the other side of the Ferrari garage, though, Carlos Sainz, just a really solid race from Carlos. Got the pit strategy right. Was always sort of in that annoying window for Verstappen, so Max couldn't really let off. Even at the end of the race, he was only a couple of seconds behind him, and let's push, let's put some pressure on him. And first podium for Ferrari, and not a bad place to do it.
To be honest, I thought if anybody's going to get the first podium for Ferrari this season out of them two, it'd have been Charles. But
yeah, it has looked like Charles has had the upper hand over the season so far. But Ferrari always wanting to keep with tradition. Ferrari do like a good tradition. So the obvious choice was not to start Charles at all, so he can't finish at Monaco because he's never done that before. So why start now?
Never finished at Monaco.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz on the other hand loves Monaco. His scoring record is ridiculous. I think he's scored every
point.
Yeah,
every race he's in finishing the points.
Yeah, which is really good, especially around a track like Monaco. You look, even the greats have binned it there at some point. Lewis has had crashes, Max has had crashes, Seb's had crashes, Ayrton Senna had a massive one at the Portier. The greats crash there. So if you've got 100% record and you've done 5 or 6 different races at Monaco, that's something to be proud of.
Without putting it in the wall as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Red Bulls. Perez, sort of nowhere, but yet sort of there.
Yeah, exactly.
Started the race, and it did feel like the roles got reversed. It was Lewis being wingman in case anything happened with Valtteri, and he's trying to just keep Perez behind. Sergio still being a little bit too far off the pace. I think I saw a little infographic thing on Instagram that was the difference between the drivers, average qualifying times over the season, and the gap between Max and Sergio was the 6th biggest, or something like that. It was
wow.
It was almost half a second gap between them as an average qualifying, and that sort of plays out in the race as well. You see that there's a difference between Sergio and Max in the race. A little bit of a different story at certain points in the race. Sergio definitely had some pace this race.
Yeah, he did.
Had quite a few fastest laps and was definitely able to gap the guys around him when he needed to. But he was the second car. Obviously Max is going to be the first driver every time going into the race, but Sergio's not even giving Red Bull the option most of the time. And in this race, it was very much let's just try and outscore Hamilton. We got a fantastic strategy call. that's just Red Bull and Monaco and strategy calls are not known necessarily for going very well.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, they got it right today. Was he P8 when he pitted and was it out P4, something like that?
Yeah, pretty sure it was.
That was the sort of jump on it. It was a good few places.
Yeah, it was a good few places.
I definitely remember hearing the call to Lewis saying that he's probably lost another place to Perez as well because he's not pitted yet.
Yeah. Lewis was not happy.
He was
bunny
not
today.
a happy bunny, no.
He was all over that radio. To Bono.
Yeah, and
having a go.
I don't really know what you can do in that situation other than just do something. Like, realistically, 7 points is not going to make a massive difference in this championship. As close as it is,
Well, it's a lot closer now.
it's 4 points different at the minute.
And
Like-
1 point in the constructors.
Yeah, like 7 points. You know, we've got 18 races left if all the races go ahead.
Yeah.
It's really not going to make that much of a difference, I don't think. I can't see it being that close to the very end. If at the end of the season Lewis wins by 7 points, then fair enough, I'll hold my hands up. But I can't see that being the case. So if I was Lewis, I'd have just gone for it. I'd have just gone for the dive bomb on Gasly. If I'm out, so be it. You know, like I might get a few extra points. Same if he gets past Gasly, he can do it at Vettel. You know, he's got the pace in the car. But yeah, I understand why he was angry though. It's just an awful call. And Perez, that side of the garage played it correct. With Max Verstappen, I mean that's just start to finish, keep it out of the wall. Simple pit stop.
Exactly.
Perfect race. That's what you want to do. Yeah, fair play. He's first win in Monaco. That's always good to get your name on that board.
First time on podium as well.
Yeah.
Monaco.
Yeah. But yeah, you want to be a race winner at Monaco. That's one of the career goals as a motorsport driver, not just Formula One.
Yeah, exactly. Part of the Triple Crown as well, isn't it?
Yeah. And he takes over the lead of the World Championship, the 64th driver to do so.
That's mad.
Which is mad, but I think what's more mad is that more drivers have scored on their debut, which is weird to think about.
Yeah.
I think Yuki was 65. Yeah, Yuki was the 65th at the start of the season. That's a good little bit of pub quiz trivia.
That is a good pub quiz question.
But yeah, it's deserved. I think I'm not a Max Verstappen fan, but I think it is very much deserved. To at least be in the lead of the title at some point in his career. I don't think he'll hold on to it this season.
Nah.
But definitely in the next couple of seasons, especially if Red Bull can really work their magic now that they control their engines next season.
Yeah.
Like a lot could change. I don't think it'll be the last time we see him at the top of the standings.
Nah, he's the future, isn't he? He's the future of Formula One.
Yeah, which is weird considering he's only 21, 22.
He's about 23, isn't he? Yeah, 23, I think.
And he's been around. This is
5 years,
sixth season, I think now in Formula One.
Yeah.
Like that's mental that he's got that much that much experience, and he's still got like 15 years left in the sport. Yeah,
100%.
It's going to be an interesting future for Formula One.
Years. Yeah, exactly.
McLaren. Let's jump to McLaren.
Before we do that, did you see Mick Schumacher's overtake on Nikita Mazarpin?
I did. I was gonna come to that, but let's do it. Should we
going into Laws. To Laws hairpin.
Yeah. Or what was it? The Grand Hotel hairpin.
Whatever it's called. I call it the Laws hairpin.
Yeah. I mean, that one, it needed to be done because there's no way he's going to be stuck behind Mazarpin. I saw did you see the onboard shot? Was the replay from Mick's car? Did you see how much Nikita swerved over? No,
I didn't see that. I just saw him. Literally, most of his car was on the curvy bit. And
yeah. I saw the overhead shot, and I was like, "Oh, Mick's really gone over the curb here. That's classic Schumacher move.
Yeah,
wiggled with no space." But then I was like, from the overhead shots, that's a strange place for Nikita to be if you know your teammates on the inside.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, but he's literally in the middle of the road, so he's not taking a good line on the hairpin, and he's not taking a good defending line. Like, I'm not quite sure what he's doing. And then I looked on the onboard, and you can see at the last minute, as Mick's going down the inside, there is a little move to the left from Nikita.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I don't think it's enough to endanger the drivers, but I wouldn't expect that on your teammate.
Oh yeah, no, you won't do that. No.
If it's one of the Williams or the Alphas or
Fair enough.
Yuki Tsunoda, then fair enough. But I'd expect that move to be done earlier to shut the potential down to start off with.
Yeah, exactly.
Not halfway through the start of the turn. I don't know. Again, I'm not a racing driver. My experience of driving other cars on Monaco is that I get taken out at Sandoval, so
yeah, exactly.
On a game as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little bit of a strange weekend for Haas. Mick Schumacher obviously having the crash in FP3, which was ruined his qualifying, like he couldn't take part.
That was at Massanet, wasn't it, just before Casino?
Yeah, and he sort of dragged along the side and round turn 4.
Tried to get it back, but it's back to put Newville.
Yeah, there's no way he should have attempted to go through to back and swimming pool with that. So fair enough for pulling up. But it did mean that he had to go for that move on Nikita, and then something happened halfway through the race. I don't know if Mick pitted early, and then just had no pace, but he switched positions on the standing board, and then I just never really got it back. I think by the end he was only 3 seconds behind Nikita, but something happened. There was a bit of a drop back.
I thought Mazarpin finished behind.
I don't know, but the last time I checked it said that Schumacher was still behind.
He was. Yeah, Schumacher was behind Mazarpin.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened, but Martin Brundle definitely picked up on it and was like, "Oh, the Haasses have swapped round." I just thought that Mick Schumacher had pitted, but then I didn't see the pit in or pit exit or the timing. I just saw the switch on the screen, and then the gap between them being like 3 seconds, 3.5, 4, 4.5. I was like, has Mick had an incident, or is that a team switch? I don't know, but
yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's one to keep an eye out in the next couple of days on social media, and we'll see what's what. Not really much else to say for Haas. It's there is one thing to say just in general. The blue flags getting out of the way was so much better this race. I think there was
not just for Haas, but for everyone.
For everyone, yeah. I think there's only one time Nikita got a little bit close with Lewis, but there wasn't anywhere else he could have rejoined.
Yeah.
I think that was just before Portier. He couldn't really do much else. So.
But yeah, everybody was.
Yeah, really good.
Moving to the side, I was like, okay to do that normally on a wider race, got more room.
Yeah, I mean they've proven the point that they can do it, so I expect going forward now it to be perfect.
Even at Azerbaijan.
Yeah. McLaren. A tale of two cars.
Yep.
Lando Norris, phenomenal drive. Looked a little bit iffy at the end as to whether or not he'd hold on. Even for Monaco, he did seem very stressed and very worried.
Yeah, he said, didn't he? I think it was like with 15 laps to go, they didn't want any radio talk from
no radio
engineers.
talk. The car's undrivable. But he held on, parked it in the middle of the road, and just didn't let Perez through, which is exactly what you would do.
That's what you need to do at Monaco.
But he was always there or thereabouts throughout the weekend, throughout free practice and qualifying, looking like he could be top 3. Daniel, on the other hand, just wasn't there.
Nah, he wasn't. He got lapped as well, didn't he, by Lando at one point.
Yeah. I think that's probably the most embarrassing thing in a Formula 1 race. You don't want to get lapped by your teammate.
Don't want to get lapped anyway, but definitely not by a teammate.
Definitely not by a teammate. But there wasn't any real massive mistakes that I could spot from Daniel. I think he just had a slower car, it looked like.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can't remember anything major happening.
Yeah, I don't think he had any issues or like that.
Yeah, it's just a very strange one. It does bring in the question of, is Daniel Ricciardo actually settling in that McLaren? Because I think in qualifying, Daniel actually does technically have the edge in the statistics.
Yeah, I think he out-qualified him, done a bit in the race. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
in the race what matters.
It is Sunday what matters. That's where you get your points, for now at least. I just don't know how to sort of see Daniel Ricciardo at McLaren. Like we said after a couple of races that he needs to really be on it in Portugal, and it's just not happened yet.
Yeah, I mean, he must be struggling because I know Carlos is at Ferrari and look what he's done today, and he's just joined that team as well, didn't he, at the start of this season, and his results have been better than Daniel's, and he's at a new team, so it makes you wonder, doesn't it, if it's the car or if it's Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of like Sergio Perez. That seat we were like, if there's a gap, then it could be the car. In the last couple of races, he's sort of still been there. Like he's still been a way back, but he's not been, out of the question for 50, 60 seconds behind.
Yeah.
Whereas Daniel has been, he's like been questionable. Does he even get through with through Q2 into Q3? Is he fighting for the last of the points? Whereas Sergio, you're like, even on a bad weekend, you're thinking Sergio's probably going to finish 7th at worst.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just don't know how to see Ricciardo and McLaren. I'm really hoping that it is just a small setup thing, and you flip the switch to the correct setting, and then suddenly he'll make it. But yeah, it's just a little weird.
Yeah, I hope so too, because he's a good driver. He's proven that, and he's a proven race winner as well. But the fact that you're at a new team and your teammate's already got 2 podiums this season, and
a new contract.
And a new contract, and you've got none. It's one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit strange.
One person that did surprise me,
Go on,
was Mr. Seb Vettel.
Sebastian Vettel. Yeah, I think again a bit like Perez, strategy worked out for him. I feel like he's slowly starting to get the hang of the Aston. But both Astons have definitely not been where they want to be this season. So
no,
he's got his first points, which is good.
That should give him confidence now.
I hope so, but at the same time, this is Monaco. If you you get the good qualifying, you should get a good race position.
And you can overtake.
My thinking is, he can overtake at Baku. If he qualifies the same as Baku, is he actually going to finish 5th, 6th? Is he going to go backwards? And my question is, will he actually get points in Baku?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm not sure. If he does, then okay, fair enough. He's probably got the hang of the car.
Yeah, but different in each track. Every track's. We'll have to find. I'll have to wait 2 weeks to find out.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else that happened in this race.
Let me have a look. No.
Another solid race from Gasly. He's really cementing himself as like a top 8 driver, which is really good. Like obviously that car works for him, and it's obvious as soon as he got demoted back that the AlphaTauri just works so much better for him. It's genuinely quite nice to see after everything that's gone on that he's got a car that he can drive. I don't see him going back to Red Bull.
No, I don't. I think if he's going to leave AlphaTauri, he'll go to another team, like Alpine or something probably, like
that. Yeah. Not really much else happening. Thanks, Monaco.
Cheers, mate. I know it's nostalgia in history, but it's a bit boring, isn't it?
I understand why it's on the track. and it is definitely a one-off. So I don't mind it. You know, if there was Monaco, and then if Russia was the same sort of thin layout, or
same sort of width.
as Singapore, and
Yeah.
if they were all like that, then I'd be really upset, because then you're losing like a good chunk of the season for one track that's got it's got the style and the glam and
It's all glitz and glam, isn't it?
yeah, it's got that appeal for fans, and it is a track that the drivers have to be 100% on, because chaos can ensue.
One wrong move and you're in the barrier.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, I understand why it's part of the Drivers' World Championship, and if you look at it from a championship point of view, like, you want the drivers to be tested in all conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I think there should be a snow race in Finland or something like that.
What, snow tires? Well, we know who's going to win now.
Something really. I mean, Kimi.
Kimi, yeah.
It's something with really extremes. The extreme this is for this one is your concentration has to be 100%.
And it's even worse when it's raining at Monaco.
Yeah. So yeah, I understand why it's on the calendar.
Yeah.
I just hope that it's the only one that ever gets like that on the calendar.
Yeah, because with Singapore, it's wider, isn't it? And there is plenty.
You've got
few overtaking slots.
Yeah.
Normally chaos does ensue in Singapore as well.
Yeah, and you've got multiple different points where you can sort of dive bomb or wiggle your way through.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas in Monaco,
it's
you
just
don't.
A start finish straight.
And we're seeing it today, even with DRS, like down the start finish straight, you just can't get close enough because of like Raskas and Anthony Nogues.
Yeah,
you can't stay close enough. So yeah,
plus it's not a long start finish straight, is it? It's literally in the middle of straights.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, that's done for another year.
Yep.
Baku.
Max is leading in the championship, and Red Bull are leading for the first time. Mercedes haven't led since 2018, I believe.
Germany 2018, that Mercedes have not led either championship.
Yep.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, that's a long time.
3 years since they've not led either championship.
Yeah.
Is crazy. Yeah, I think it's not going to stay that way for very long.
Nah.
You have Baku in a couple of weeks, and the Mercedes do like that track. I mean, Red Bull are not bad at that track, but I think Mercedes might just have the edge there.
Yeah.
I think the only thing left to do is predictions
for Azerbaijan.
Well, I'm going to try and find the predictions that we made.
Before we do the predictions,
yeah,
can we just talk about McLaren's livery?
Oh, you know what?
If that's right.
When I first saw it, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it did look on the photos. It looked proper. It looked proper mint. But then when you saw it on the TV, it was like, oh.
I mean, I saw it in FP in free practice, and I was like, yeah, if the sun's out, this is going to look good. But it's definitely a night sort of race track.
Yeah, it's like a Singapore livery.
Yeah, it's a Singapore Bahrain livery for definite. Which is a little bit of a shame. I hope they bring it back, because it is a really nice livery.
They should have a few races every year where they run retro liveries, or like they change up the livery for
at the historic races. You mean?
Yeah, like at a Britain or a Spa or an Italy.
Yeah.
Because they've been on the calendar since 1950, haven't they? There should be a rule where you could just use an old livery, like or a special livery or whatever.
Yeah.
Because then I think it'd be good to see that. I mean, Red Bulls wouldn't be much change because they've been the same colour ever since.
Red Bull should run that camo livery. That was sick.
Which one?
They're testing camo livery.
Yeah, the red and blue one. The red and black one, or the blue and black one.
The like the black and white
that was
sick.
Alfa Romeo's testing livery was nice as well.
Most testing liveries are quite nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but I mean, like they should do a race like a Britain Spa or an Italy where they just run retro liveries, or a one-off livery or whatever.
It would be nice.
I mean, for Haas, Haas wouldn't really have much choice because they've only been around since 2016.
Well, I mean, Monaco is the track where all the liveries seem to change. Like Red Bull have had multiple different
Yeah,
livery
they've had
changes.
Superman, they've had a
Star Wars one, yeah.
all
That
that
was
kind
good.
of.
That was because the mechanics in the garage were all dressed up like stormtroopers.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That was sick.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. So let's look at our predictions very quickly because they're not good.
Yeah,
Qualifying. I had Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas, the usual trio. Less said the better. You got Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc. That's a lot closer.
I got two, but just not in the right order.
Yes. I mean, I got Verstappen second, so I'm going to take that.
You could have a point for that.
You got Verstappen on pole, which he technically started the race on pole. But
yeah, but it was second.
Yeah,
it was kind of poor because Leclerc didn't take part.
Which is a real shame. But good, kudos for having Leclerc up there.
Yep.
In the race, you had Hamilton to win, Verstappen second, Leclerc third.
Oh, bastard. Oh, that didn't work.
I think because we obviously got on our qualifying predictions as well, it doesn't help.
Yep.
I didn't do much better because I had Hamilton first, Verstappen second, like you, but I had Perez third. So I was a little bit better.
Yeah.
I definitely said that with like hope that Perez would genuinely be the third fastest car in the race, not that he'd do it on strategy and only just miss out on third.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't mind being wrong because that is a wicked race that we've had. In terms of the podium,
to be honest, I'm happy with the podium that we got today.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of the podium, it was pretty cool. But wicked in terms of the race was not at all true. It was a very boring race.
Yeah, very, very boring.
Baku.
I don't know what to do now because of what we just happened at Monaco.
Exactly. I don't think the Ferraris have genuine pace to stick around all season. So
no, I don't.
I'm not going to keep them up there. I still think Perez is going to have the edge over Bottas. I'm going to stick with Checo being top 3. I do think Mercedes will have the slight edge, but just for the tastiness, I'm going to give Max pole. And only because I actually don't want Lewis to score pole until he gets another couple of wins for the nice 100-100.
Yeah. So you're going
Verstappen,
Hamilton, Perez.
Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez for qualifying. Yeah.
Ooh. Right. Yeah. Right. So I'm gonna be bold here.
Okay.
I'm gonna put Norris P3.
Oh.
Yeah, I told you I'm gonna be bold here. Hamilton P2, Verstappen P1.
Wow, I would not, in my wildest dreams, have put McLaren P3.
Yeah, but you never know what could happen.
That's true. That is true. Charles could bin it at Castle and have the session end
like he normally does.
That's interesting. For the race, I think Hamilton will win. I kind of want to go bold and not put Max up there, but he has to be up there.
Well, he's not. He's had mixed fortunes at Azerbaijan, hasn't he?
Yeah. Okay. Hamilton to win.
Yep.
Bold prediction coming up. Leclerc second, Verstappen third.
Oof.
Why not? You know what? Why not just take that punt? And if it happens, it'll be a cracking race. If it doesn't, well, what did we expect?
Yeah. Normally, we do get good races at Azerbaijan.
I think there'll be a safety car or something, and Ferrari will be on the alternate strategy and end up there.
Someone's been in it at Castle.
Well, I just somewhere. I don't know. I'm not going to say exactly Castle, but
nah, there's normally collisions and stuff, isn't there?
Yeah.
So my race prediction is Sir Lewis Hamilton to take the victory.
So, so okay, we've agreed on both pole sitters and winners,
Yeah.
like-minded.
I've got to be bold again. Leclerc P2,
Right.
and then Perez P3,
Oh.
because
Okay,
he has finished on the podium before at Baku.
Yeah, you're going a little bit more bold than me.
I was gonna go Perez or Norris.
I thought I genuinely thought for a split second that you were going to be like, well, Stroll's finished on the podium before.
Yeah, but he's not in a quick car, is he?
I mean, yeah,
I
but
was
Monza.
debating. Yeah, I was debating between Norris or Perez, but I think Perez will just get there.
Well, so Hamilton, Leclerc, Perez.
Yeah, and Verstappen might crash or something or have an incident. Hence why I've not put him up there.
Fair. Right. Well, I think that sums up our Monaco Grand Prix podcast. I really hope that you've enjoyed listening to this a little bit more than you've potentially enjoyed watching the race.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather watch paint dry than watch that race.
I'm not watching that again in the archives.
Yeah, no.
Remember to follow us on our social media at IO Sportscast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you're listening to this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and the thumbs up button. That lets you know when we've got our next episode coming out, and it really helps us as well. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, hit the follow button. Again, that'll let you know when the new episodes come out. We really appreciate each and every one of you, so thank you very much for listening. Ollie, it's been an absolute pleasure, even if this isn't the greatest race in history.
Yep.
Thank you for listening again. Goodbye. You're not going to do your high-pitched goodbye?
No, not now.
Oh, right, okay. Well, that's
Gonna leave them wanting more.